Good morning or good afternoon. I need to stop saying good morning. Hello would do. Hello. Sorry. It's really nice to have you here. I hope you are doing well. I hope you have had a good like 36 hours since I last talked to you. What we're going to do today is we're going to be starting to look at the 7 key aspects of media. Specifically, we're going to look at what is called categories. So this is the start of us learning how to break down media and how to analyze it. What you'll need today is something to write on, be it a paper, a slate, a papyrus, whatever you've got going. Something to write with, pen, chisel, ancient quill, whatever you have, or a laptop with an open Word document. Because again, I'm going to ask you that whatever you do this lesson, you send to me, and I will use that to inform what I do in my conference call next week. It is really nice to have you here. I'm sorry it took me 3 attempts to get my higher loom right earlier, so my brain's a little bit mushy. So if I seem a little bit space cadet, that's why, and I do apologise. I promise I'll do your loom first next time, and you'll get the best of Mr. Corbett when he is more alert. Also, my wee girl was immunised yesterday, so I've had hee-haw sleep. So that's what you're dealing with today. Yeah. Right. Come on. There we go. I should get rid of my face too. So, learning intention, success criteria for today. You're going to learn what the term categories means in regards of media, and your success criteria is that you'll accurately be able to categorize any form of media that I throw at you. This loom might not look like it's too long. I don't know. I haven't finished it yet, obviously, but it will have lots of you pausing it and doing little tasks. Okay, the tasks are for you to learn. Come on. So categories, as we've touched on already, it is as simple as it sounds. It's how we categorize. Sorry, that should be SE. Ever the professional. It is how we categorize a piece of media. This helps us to know what to expect from said piece of media. So we look at several key areas here. For our purposes today, we'll be looking at medium or form of media, genre of media, and the purpose of media. We're not really going to talk about purpose because we talked purpose to death in our conference call. All right? So we're going to mainly focus on medium and form, and we're going to focus on genre. So, medium and form, copy all the stuff in purple, you lucky people, you. Now, I'm not going to pause. I'm not going to stop talking and give you time to copy it. You're going to have to pause me, copy it down, and then set me off again whenever you want. All right? So, pause me. Medium and form broadly refers to where and how we might encounter our piece of media. It's very simply, it's just a description. I cannot emphasize enough. Don't overcomplicate it. You're literally just describing that piece of media. You can break your analysis down into 3 easy steps. What is it that I am looking at? Literally, what is it? Am I looking at a movie? Am I looking at an advert? Am I looking at a poster? Am I looking at a music video? What am I looking at? Where is it initially? So where am I looking at it? Or if it's a movie, you need to think, okay, where did this first come out and where am I looking at it now? And why there? So if I'm looking at an advert, but I'm specifically looking at a poster, why does this advert exist in this poster in this place? That's where it gets a tiny bit more complicated, but it's actually not that tough. It's all pretty logical here. So medium form, you're literally describing what media it is that you are looking at in its simplest terms. Okay. This will be, if you break it down into these 3 questions, it'll be an easy way to understand it. Firstly, you'll be able to understand what elements of media we're analysing, and it'll allow you to start to notice some trends or areas of commonality between specific media and mediums and forms. So you'll start to see that, actually, really successful big blockbuster movies tend to do this. Really good posters tend to do that. Okay? I'm hoping this will be a quick one, by the way. That's not for you, you'll have lots of tasks, but for me, he said selfishly. So, we're just going to have a bash. When we're looking at categories, we're going to think about Men in Black. I really wish I hadn't chosen a flashing GIF. This is going to annoy all of us. There we go. Sorry. So we're going to look at Men in Black. All right. So firstly, we have to think, what is it? Where is it? Why was it there? So if we have a wee look, it's a movie. Nice and simple. I don't need anything more complicated than that. It was initially released in the cinema. Obviously, now you can view it on streaming services, DVD, and things like that. And so, why was this movie released in the cinema? Well, it was a large budget film with big name actors, Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, other people. And so, the biggest profit margin that it could achieve, would be to release it in the cinema, build up the hype, release it in the cinema, have as many people view it in the cinema as you're going to get, and then release it to DVD, streaming, whatever may come next. That's all there is to medium and form. What is it? Where is it? Why is it there? Okay. Now, this is a Pepsi advert. This is the tail end of a very controversial Pepsi advert that never made it to TV, and we will study it because it is brilliantly ridiculous. It's actually, I'm hoping to study this pretty soon because it is very poignant to what is going on in the world just now, specifically in terms of Black Lives Matter. So, with this Pepsi advert, if we break it down, now you can do this yourself. You can pause me right now and you can go, no, shush, Mr. Corbett, I've got this now. I understand what's going on. You can pause me just now and you can do it yourself. I'm going to talk you through it. When we're looking at this Pepsi advert, it appeared as an advert. It was initially planned to be released on TV. However, for issues that we'll discuss later on in the course, it wasn't. And it was initially for TV release because Pepsi is a massive brand name. It has the finances to fund multiple adverts, including primetime TV release adverts with big names in it, like, I believe that's a Jenner. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. No, not to me. We will look at that advert, but that's how simple it is breaking down the medium or form of this advert. Okay, you just describe it. We can look at the Obama poster. Okay, during Obama's presidential campaign, this was what he campaigned with. This was one of his key campaigning posters. So what is it? It's an advert. It's a political advert advertising Obama, advertising his person, his personality. Where was it? Well, it was a poster. It was a symbolic campaign. The posters were physically put up and the images were shared online. And why there? Well, Obama was a Democratic presidential campaign. This meant his party had huge funding. It was important to engage with as many people as possible, so multiple campaigns were run using multiple media forms. Some were on TV, and some, like this, were in the streets and on social media. Now, if you want to dig a little bit deeper as to why, it's because on the streets, that's where the people are. On social media, that's where the people are. You're more likely to engage with people if you are where they are. So putting this poster around and engaging with people, going about their day-to-day, had the biggest impact. But again, what is it? Where is it? Why is it there? Hopefully this isn't too difficult. If it is, email me. Tell me. I'll try and do better. But what I want you to try and do is on the following slides, I've uploaded a few different types of media. All I want you to do is describe the form or medium of each one. Form and medium for me are the same thing. Give me as much detail as you can. Use the format that I used previously. Cannot emphasize this enough, guys. Every year in English and media, I teach formats, I teach formulas, really nice ways to really succinctly answer a question. And then what do people do? They ignore them. Don't be that guy. Use the format. What is it? Where is it? Especially where was it initially and why there? So, Vinnie Jones CPR. This link should be in your Showa homework link if you want to watch the whole thing. If not, I will very quickly explain that the Vinnie Jones CPR campaign was an advert that was released on, I believe it was released on Channel 4 for, it lasts about 30 seconds, and then Vinnie Jones teaches CPR. But you should watch it. We will study it later on in the course anyway, so it's worth your while. So pause this and write down what is it about them. So write down what is it, where is it, why is it there. All right. Then you have this one. This is where it really, like, this PowerPoint really kind of makes it for me. I'm flying through it now. You have this political poster. It came out during World War. I want to say World War One, World War Two. I actually don't know, and it doesn't have a date, so it doesn't help me. During one of the world wars, I should know that. I should have looked that up before I put it in. It was, as you can see, it's a poster. Obviously, for obvious reasons, it won't have appeared digitally anywhere during any of the world wars. But I want you to tell me, what is it? Where would you have expected to find it? Why would it have been there? Britain wants you. Join your country's army. God save the king. Oh, we were not. All right. We have this Deadpool poster. It was a billboard poster. I just want to say, it was a billboard poster. Why was it a billboard poster? So, what is it? Where was it? Why was it there? This was a little bit tougher, but not impossible. Oh, sorry. And finally, Moana. I want you not just to comment on this one GIF. I want you to tell me about the whole movie. What is Moana? Where did Moana first appear? Like, where could you have first viewed the movie, and why there? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly talk you through them. So, Vinnie Jones CPR. It was an advert, and I told you that, so you should hopefully have that down. It appeared on Channel 4, so you should have that down as well. And it did this because that gave it a really good. When it came out, there wasn't all the streaming that there is today and things like that. When it came out, if you wanted to watch telly, you watched telly. You watched whatever was on, and when the adverts came on, you suffered through the adverts as well. And that's what this exploited. It used people sitting in front of their telly to teach them something that it thought was incredibly useful. Right? It had a massive audience of anyone who happened to be watching Channel 4 at that time. Okay, so what is it? It's an advert, public service announcement, if you will. Where is it? Channel 4 during the advert breaks. Why is it there? Because lots of people would have been watching. This is a poster. Again, I had to tell you that as well. So what is it? It's a poster. Where was it? It would have been plastered on walls everywhere. And why? Because it was trying to guilt trip as many people as it could to join the army. It was trying to convince, or I think guilt trip's probably a fair word for the posters that came out, as many people as it possibly could to join the army. And they were very successful. What is it? Again, I told you it's a billboard poster. Billboard poster, by the way, if you don't know, is one of the massive ones that appears on the sides of roads or attached to a building. Where was it? It was on the sides of roads or attached to buildings, as I may have just hinted. And why there? Very, very public, and because it surprised people. This was a poster that surprised people. People knew what Deadpool was. People had seen the adverts for Deadpool. And the last thing you would have thought for the adverts for Deadpool and what Deadpool was that it would be a romantic film. And yet, that's what this is insinuating in a very Deadpool way. So it was there to engage and surprise as many people as it could by being somewhere obvious to make people be like, really? All right. And finally, Moana. It's a movie. Okay, most of you should know this. It appeared in the cinema because it was a high-budget Disney movie with some very big names in it, such as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And if you didn't already know, the chicken is voiced by Alan Tudyk. He's a great actor. The only non-Polynesian descended actor to work on the movie, which we'll talk about again at some point this year. What I have done here, by the way, guys, is I am trying to introduce you to a few things like the Vinnie Jones CPR advert, Moana, that we will be, the Pepsi advert, things like that we will be looking at this year, so that you can start to understand the shape that this year is going to take. So, genre is incredibly straightforward. That, by the way, that's us done with categories specific to forum and the other word I used. Man, I'm going through this very quickly. Forgotten the other word. I stuck out of it. I'm just going to say forum. There we go. Medium. Forum and medium. All right. So we're going to move on to genre. Okay. If you want to take it, genre won't take nearly as long, by the way. Genre you should already know. You've hopefully studied genre in English. If you haven't, you should really be aware of it anyway. It's something that when you are choosing a movie you want to watch, one of the things you inherently think about is genre. You can't not. You really can't not. So genre is as straightforward as it sounds. But I am going to go through it very quickly because it will build us into next week's call. So, with absolutely no prompting or help from me, I want you to do your best to write down right now what you think genre is. Pause the presentation and write down what do you think genre is. All right. So, copy this first bit in lovely lilac. Genre refers to the style or category of art, music, literature, or media. Or to put it simply, it will be used to categorize the tone, feeling, or style of a piece of media. We'll start off with a fairly basic kind of description of genre. And we'll do that by only looking at TV and movies. So when we're looking at TV and movies, what kind of genres can we think of? I'm going to give you one, comedy. And using your own knowledge, I want you to list some more genres that you might expect in the film and TV industry. There's a lot. You won't get all of them, but you should be able to, especially with me giving you comedy or romantic comedy or whatever you might want, you should be able to come up with a few genres of your own. Pause the presentation and list them just now. Here's a heap. Genre, I do want you to copy these down, purely because some of them will come up in our tasks. Here are some genres, but by no means all the genres. There's lots. You might have a horror genre or children's movie, superhero movie, action movie, adventure movie, fantasy, sci-fi, comedy, a period piece or a historical film, a spy movie, a thriller, a detective film. That's a nice array of genres. And you'll have got some of them. You'll probably got quite a lot of them. You'll probably got some different ones. And that's fine. Because when we're talking about genre, you do already know. Okay? I'm going to prove that to you. When deciding on what genre something is, you actually already know how to do it, whether you're aware of it or not. All you have to do is look at something, and you can make a very accurate guess as to the genre you're looking at. Now, some things will deceive you. Right? It would be impossible to look at that poster if you had no understanding of Deadpool and predict what you are about to watch. But most of the time, we can. All you have to do is look at something, and you can make an accurate description of the genre. And as I said, I'm going to prove it to you. On the following slides, I will upload a few different genres of media. I can't remember if I just did GIFs or if I did pictures too. All I want you to do is tell me the genre and explain in as much detail as you can how you came to that decision. So, what genre is it? How do you know? Fair warning, guys, there's a creepy clown on the next slide and minor instances of violence. The man who gets hit does not die, if that's any consolation. So, what genre is this? I put AHS because if you know what this is, you know what it's called. And if you don't, there is a very big clue as to the genre in the name. Don't panic if you're not sure about what this is. Think about it. Think about what you can see. Think about maybe the colours that one of the characters is wearing. Think about the costume. Think about the face, the props. What can you see? How does that tell you what genre this probably is? All right. By the way, guys, I'm moving on quickly because you should pause it, complete the task, and then unpause it. So moving on. Number 2. Again, look for clues. This is obviously from Frozen. What stands out about this? Is it a traditional film, i.e. made by people filming other people using cameras, or is it something else? What does that generally suggest? Now, just because it generally suggests it doesn't mean it's true every time, but what genre is it? How do you know? All right, should have paused it and answered those questions. Number 3. Now, guys, there could be more than one genre for a piece of media. All right, there could be, say, 2. Like this one, I would suggest has 2. Sorry, that's going to bug me in the end. So, you want to think about, again, what do you see that gives you clues here? What happens in this scene? What do you see? How does it suggest as to genre? For the Expendables 2, I believe. All right. You should have completed that, so moving on. Giving you 2 gifts because, again, I want you to maybe try and get a couple of genres. What kind of genres could we be looking at here? Think about what you see, all the different things that people are holding, what's happening, what's going on. Is there something here that you wouldn't see in other forms of movie? Why? Why not? So, what genres is it? How do you know? The other element of categories is purpose, but we're not going to talk about purpose at length because we have done purpose already at length. Very quickly, you should have hit on horror. I'm not going to explain why because that's going to start to hit into your homework. But horror, children's, okay, Disney animated children's movie, action, maybe comedy with the dialogue, and action would be what I'd be looking for here. Hopefully categories is starting to make sense. The long and the short of it is categories is how we categorize our media. We put it into little boxes to help us understand what we're looking at. When looking at categories, I knew I'd do it eventually. No categories. When looking at categories, you should always think, what am I looking at? Why is it in that format? Does it have a genre? That will help you. Finally, your homework. I should have put a wee task thing up here with the red, but I did! Oh, look at me go. I'm so good at this. When we're talking about... Come on, Mr. Corbigan. Slipping categories. When we were talking about categories, I told you that a lot of the time you'll be able to innately spot what genre you're looking at. I want you to have a think about why that is. How is it that you can tell if something is going to be a horror? How can you tell if something's going to be a comedy? How can you tell if something's going to be an action movie or a thriller? How do you know? What do you expect to see in a horror movie? What do you expect to see in a comedy? What do you expect to see and hear in a children's movie? Shouldn't be too tough. And that's your homework. All right? I want you to copy down this whole table. Oh, it's gone. I want you to copy down this whole table. All right, not these bits. These bits are just suggestions, but from here and here, I want you to copy it down. And I want you to tell me, when you're watching a horror, what are some things you might expect to see? What are some things you might expect to hear? When you're watching a comedy, what are some things you might expect to see? What are some things you might expect to hear? An action, a sci-fi, you could do a children's movie. If you want to do different genres, as long as you do 4, I don't mind. I want you to fill out 4 different genres and what you would expect to see and hear when watching those genres. Try and get the work done by the 9th of the 6th, 2020. That is 6 days from today. 6 days? 5 days? 6 days from today. Now, I actually didn't think I would get this out till tomorrow, but I am still going to give you till the 11th to complete the tasks because it's a week. Once you complete the homework, email it to me. Okay, I need you to email it to me. You emailing me your homework is how I know you've watched this Loom. If you don't email me anything, I assume you have not seen the Loom. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Above and beyond that, I hope you're all having a lovely week, and I really look forward to chatting to you guys very soon. All right, all the best.